she accused him of like fingering her or some shit.
Huh? What?
Yeah,
Like in the
something like
club?
that. Yeah.
Do women get away too lightly for falsely accusing men of rape? This is your daily Ketchup. Okay, before we start, important trigger warning. This episode we're going to be talking about sexual assault. So if that triggers you, please watch the next episode instead. So there's a trending case. The headline goes, auxiliary cop made plans to have sex with male colleague, then falsely accused him of rape. So
Man, I wish somebody would make plans to have sex with me. kidding.
yeah, so it was actually the female cop who initiated the text and like kind of like flirted with him and then after asked him for sex.
Okay.
And then after the incident, accused him of rape. So the truth only emerged when authorities found out about this chat and then like the plans that they made and all that.
They like search her phone.
Yeah,
and
they
then
searched
saw
her
the
phone and
text.
they found.
Wow.
So she lodged a police report claiming that the man had raped her. She told the CID officer in a statement that he had invited her to his home via text. And then she claimed that she rejected, but he called and messaged her persistently. She eventually agreed, but he sexually assaulted her when she reached his home.
So this was the story that she told.
This is the story that she
CID.
told.
Okay.
So her offense came to light after the authorities examined her mobile phone and found the messages, which showed that she was the one that initiated the contact. But there is no like confirmation whether they actually did have sex on that day.
Wow, the police that has to do this investigation, right? Like they have to decipher the messages.
That's true. But
Like
also
they have
like
to like Telegram search like SEX.
Yeah.
Then find like sex.
no, but as someone who like if you are someone who always likes to snoop around, right? That's a damn stroke job
I
because
think
you
you
get
would
paid
like
to.
it.
Yeah.
It's like kepo, but like I'm paid to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's get to the bottom of this. Then imagine, oh my god, it was her. Then you get
Yeah,
your
then
colleagues
you were
around
like,
like, hey,
oh
look
my
at this.
The crazy thing is that there are people on TikTok like Gen Zs or whatever, right, who can dig out such detail and shit about
They damn
people
zai.
and then come across a whole storyline and narrative, right? That ends up being accurate.
Yeah.
That one really blew my
Like
mind.
they look
sia.
at
Yeah.
the facial expression, the way they hug people.
It's damn crazy. Yeah, but then in school when they do composition, chala.
But the future of the police force in Singapore,
Very bright.
They didn't really say why she decided to lie about it, but basically she went to see a doctor for a UTI she experienced, and then during the medical examination she requested for painkillers and then decided to lie about the purported rape.
Okay. Speculation here, okay? Because like we haven't identified her. I think there's a gag order. So I think we can take some liberties. Like I would assume that someone in that situation, maybe she's in a relationship, don't know whether married or not. And then maybe saying that I got a UTI or like some form of like disease that came out of the incident, right? Your partner may be very inquisitive about, hey, how come you did this? Or like, where were you this day or whatever? And then if they found out that you spent the night at someone else's place, she may panic and go, he raped me. You know what I mean? Like, there may be an element of trying to get away with it by accusing the guy because she was the one that initiated it.
But okay, wait, sorry, just to clarify one thing. So both the offender and the man, their name and all that cannot be revealed due to gag order. So both of their names have a gag order on it.
Did they mention like what? So now that she's caught, like what was the sentence for her?
She was jailed for 4 weeks. That's it.
Huh?
For giving false information, right?
Yeah.
She could have been jailed for up to 2 years plus fine, but she got 4 weeks. So I think maybe, okay, specifically in this case, right, we don't even know what the identity of the male cop is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there was another case, right, a few years back that blew up quite a bit where there was like a doctor that was falsely accused. And then he was like named and shamed. And then he spent 4 years and $600,000, right, to clear his name.
Yeah.
But by that time, like, I mean, his reputation is already fully destroyed. Right? And can you imagine how his life had been during that 4 years?
Yeah.
So this woman got away with 6 months jail, and I'm not sure whether there was a fine.
It's not just the $600,000 he had to pay, right? It's that in that 4 years, no one would want to be his client also or like be a patient of his. So there was a loss of income. Sometimes like 10 years down the road, right, when you hear of this name, you would remember him of the accusation and not necessarily the clearing of the name also. It's quite shack, that like someone could get away with it.
I also think that besides thinking of like maybe like or trying to justify why she ended up doing it, right? I think there are also bad people that exist in this world. People that just do these sort of things to other people. You know what I mean? Because they can.
I
So,
think
like,
it's quite
whoever this-
disappointing to women in general. Like there may be women in a real situation,
Yeah.
but then these kind of cases, like
Make it that much harder for them
so
to...
next time in the future, if a woman claim a similar situation, like with a doctor maybe, and really got molested, right? Then they will think back on this case, because it's a past case, then,
Precedent, yeah.
And then it like just makes it that much harder to prove their case lah.
Yeah, it doesn't help the belief women cause at all.
My friends were sharing tips about like sliding into people's DMs or like chatting up girls for hookups and that kind of stuff, right? I don't know why. But so one of the core tips, right, and this is from girls, is text on WhatsApp. Because on Telegram and on IG DMs, you can delete, you can alter the messages and it cannot be traced on. But WhatsApp is the only platform, if I'm not wrong, that everything is like saved and encrypted and you cannot fully delete everything.
They will show the message has been deleted.
Something like, and even then, right, I think you can go and get back on in
can
the
download
case
the
of
chat.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's the safest one. So if anybody out there, you are trying to hook up or whatever, these kind of situations, right? Or even if just for your own safety, use WhatsApp. Yeah.
But Telegram got cute sticker though.
Yeah, the WhatsApp
Sure.
one I need to
Just
add
don't
one
use
by
that
one.
to
Yeah.
get into these kind of situations.
Not only that, you know,
Only.
if you actually reply to a message and the initial message was deleted, but the reply will still have that preview of that deleted message.
Oh.
Damn.
Hey, you know this so well.
I could experience. No, but I think about this, right? So like I remember seeing the Reddit thread for this incident, and I think a majority of the comments was saying how like she could have potentially ruined a man's like career, life, and yet her sentence was light relatively, 4 weeks, and she still got gag ordered. So like there's no way to name and shame her also.
People actually said like some of them actually said they went to look up like the Singapore court proceedings to try to find her name and this kind of stuff, and then cannot find. Like you know, so I'm wondering, right? Like does the gag order like apply to me also? You know, like if I hearsay this is the woman, right? And then after that, eventually I piece it together because I'm Gen Z and I'm on TikTok, right? Then, and then after that I post about it. Do I go to jail?
Hey, if there's any lawyers out there, like do comment in. I remember reading on SingaporeLawAdvice.com or whatever that like gag order applies to all persons, but they never say like the whole country or whatever or public, but they put that all persons, so anyone who breaches it may get fined or imprisonment.
What exactly is a gag order? Because the only one I've heard is when a girl tells me to, she orders me to use my hands.
So basically cannot reveal any personal information about said person.
So like when you gag someone, right, you basically put a cloth into their mouth, right, and then make them go.
Really, meh? I thought you stick your fingers down their throat. Or you strangle them.
So it's related to their inability to speak, because when you do that, they can't speak. So I guess that's where you're ordering them to gag.
Well, this is what the trigger warning was actually for.
No, but the problem is that like you don't know every single gag order that's been in place though. So what if
Her
you
name is
actually just
that's what I picture. Gag order. Like a random man just comes in.
No, this reminds me of like, because last time I had a Nokia Engage, right? And then there was no other way to like download games except you Google it or maybe like download it in 5 different means.
Okay.
And then so I would search Nokia Engage, but then that source also, right, has a lot of like porn videos, which I won't use to download lah. So I remember putting Engage, right? And then all the results was gag. Like woman gags, don't know, whatever. And then I was just like, I was asking my friend, like, is this the Engage game? And then he's like, dude, no, sia. Lucky I never download.
Yeah, last time when young that time, right? Or like internet first born, all the website all confusing one. Like I was playing Final Fantasy.
Wow, sian, my laptop broken, but it's so expensive to get a new one.
Hey, girl, don't worry. This 12/12, right? You can shop on Lenovo via ShopBack to get up to 16% cashback on top of on-site deals that already save you up to 50%. Come, Akong will buy for you.
Oh no! It looks like I'll need a new phone too, Akong. Maybe you can shop on Samsung via ShopBack this 12/12 as well. They got up to 15% cashback with no minimum spend and no cap, just like Lenovo.
Hey, baby, what's happening?
You kena malware. How come you don't have virus protection?
What kind of protection? Akong don't know. That's how I end up with your father.
Papa? Get Norton 360 to keep your online life safer. They give you 100% virus protection, PC cloud backup, dark web monitoring, and more.
Huh? Protect? Actually, not necessary.
This 12/12, shop on Norton via ShopBack to get 100% cashback on Norton products.
I'm listening.
And leading up to ShopBack's 12/12 MegaSale, every day is Super Brand Day. Expect upsized cashback from a different brand every day. And stand to win VVIP rewards like iPhone 14, Dyson Supersonic hairdryer, and even Nike Dunk Low Panda sneakers when you shop during ShopBack's 12/12 MegaSale.
Wow, like big, yeah.
Oi, you drooling eh?
Hey, no, I mean the prizes very big.
Really? I'm not behind you.
Hey.
I tell you, you better buy Ama a new dishwasher to say sorry. Luckily for you, Samsung has free delivery and free installation for large appliances.
Wow, heng ah.
PC cloud backup. Monitoring, okay. I'm so thrown off. Okay, anyway.
Then FFX or something, Final Fantasy X, right? So then you go and search on blogs for like game guides and that kind of thing, right? Then I just type in FXX, right? Then BAM! Tits! Then I don't know how to close. Then all the pop-ups start coming out. Then they close before you can get the mouse to the small X.
Yeah.
Damn annoying.
No, you just put one X already, right? All the results will be XXX, XXX.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I was so innocent, I thought it was the Triple X movie. So I thought like, okay, I'll watch Triple X lor. Boom! Porn.
But actually he was looking
Yeah.
for
Why is it only guys that stumble onto this?
Because
No,
women
I
don't know how
got-
to use computer, right?
Hey, that trigger warning also for this.
No, I
Okay.
got stumbled before. Like I go to this website, then I see it's for games one. Then I saw like I was quite young. Then I saw like dress up games. Then I was like, oh my god, dress up games. Then I click right. Then suddenly there's the copy says like, haha, you horny bastard. I know you here to undress girls, not dress up girls. Then I click the
Got
game
me.
right. It's like you change the girl clothes, like you know, like those like Barbie website like that. But it's like you when you take off the clothes, really can see the boobs.
Wait, it's real boobs or it's cartoon?
No, like cartoon boobs.
Oh.
I love how after you saw the text already, right? You still proceeded
No,
to play.
I read it. I was like, what do you mean, like undress girls?
There was this post online on TikTok or something about how like one of the interesting surprises you get, right, is that you never know what nipple you're gonna see when you're there, girl. Because girls have vastly different nipples.
That's
apparently.
true. Do you know that your lip color is meant to match your nipple color? So like the best shade of lipstick, right, is meant to be what your nipple color is.
Then you go to Sephora and then all of them.
Then you see all the guys start going into Sephora also instead of standing outside. Okay,
Anyway.
so like people have been complaining that like similar to Dan's reaction, right? That this sentencing is way too light.
Yeah.
Because like I mentioned, like this case was reported in 2020. So technically, if you think about it, right, his life would have been affected since then already. I would assume that he got suspended to begin with.
Yeah.
And then like if friends and family are asking what happened, then he might confide in some people, right? And I wonder what people's reactions to that are. Like, you know, if I find out, right, that my friend like got suspended for like possibly raping someone else,
Yeah.
I don't know whether I would still associate myself with that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he's innocent until proven guilty.
I think back then we were talking about the Dikosh case, right? Like how there were accusations, and then I think we also got the opportunity to speak to him. And it's interesting how the law works, or how they later on, when you figure out a lot of things, then you realize that it's so easy for somebody to really just point a finger and then the police just take action like that. I have this friend, right, who back then we were clubbing together, right? A random girl just came out, grabbed him and say like, why the you touch me? Obviously he didn't lah. Then he like confused also. So he just brushed it off. He's a drunk girl, go away, right?
Yeah.
Then after that, right, the next moment, right, the girl come back with 2 police officers. Then they just straight away grab him. Then they just go cantonment already.
Oh my
Then for
god.
24 hours, right, he stuck in jail, cannot contact or whatever. And we were in army then. So if you never go to army, right, you are AWOL and all that kind of thing, right, you can get charged and go jail and all that kind of shit. So I mean, I think we managed to cover all that kind of stuff lah. But he never do anything.
Yeah.
But basically, she accused him of like fingering her or some shit.
Huh? What?
Yeah,
Like in the
something like that
club?
lah. Yeah. I think somewhere through the process, right, they contacted each other directly. And I think somewhere along the lines, right, there was a moment of where she tried to blackmail him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like if you pay a certain amount of money or you do something, right, then I will
Drop the case.
Yeah. Random stranger just point, right?
Yeah.
You go jail. Eh.
Just
Yes,
wrong place,
yeah.
wrong time. You're just walking by and then you get
Yeah.
randomly selected. What
So,
the
but to all people who falsely
very
accused of sexual
inclusive show.
assault, right? If the other person is cleared and you are actually you're falsely accusing people, what happens to you?
It's also about like setting a proper deterrent, right? Because someone can just be reading about this case and say, oh, so the risk of falsely accusing is 4 weeks. Sure, it's maximum 2 years, but a similar case like this is 4 weeks. And what can I gain from this? I could either get away with cheating or get away with all this random stuff, right? That feels like a low risk maneuver to just falsely accuse someone and get away with it. And I feel like it's not appropriately like judged in terms of the punishment.
This case didn't state it, but I just googled like what is the maximum sentence for rape in Singapore, and it's up to 20 years in prison plus fine or plus caning.
What?
Yeah. So comparatively, it's 2 years versus 20 years. So either way, the stakes are like a lot different. So
10 times.
yeah, and I think something that Dan was mentioning, like when we were discussing this before the shoot, was that like how can we kind of even out, right? Like the stakes of it, like such that while we can still believe women, we don't empower women, right, to falsely accuse men.
It's very difficult to prove the case. There are definitely cases where it actually happens, but because it's so complex, because maybe it happens when you are drunk or you get drugged, or the person is just a professional crazy person and a sexual assaulter, and so you might have kena, then you go and report already, but because they cannot prove it, the person just gets away. And then in that situation, or maybe the person is like innocent lah. Then after that, then come back, you go jail after you kena rape.
I see what I mean, because like you don't want an actual victim who doesn't have the evidence to then get over it lah.
Like that badly.
Yeah.
Right?
Is the answer just having more cameras everywhere?
But I think specifically when it comes to sexual assault, it's so difficult because at any point, the woman or the man could change their mind, right? And it could become sexual assault depending on the following action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if we started having sex already, and then after that I think I don't want this.
Yeah.
Then I say stop. Then the guy like maybe never hear what, he continue for a while. Then then after that, the woman really says stop, right? Then the thing stops. In this case, she could also have reported it as rape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are just. But he never stopped when the girl says stop. What?
Like maybe I going too hard, right? Then pain, so she says stop, right? Then after, but then from the point of saying pain, right? Maybe, and the time it takes for me to register, maybe there was another 2 extra pumps, right? Those 2 extra pumps, then I go jail, meh? Those 2 extra pumps means I'm a rapist, man. No, what? The intent, I think the intent is damn important. And in those situations where it's so complex, right? I hope I can say this, that I trust the justice system enough that they can understand this also, right? They are not idiots, So,
but
is that fine line of also your word against mine?
Yeah, it's hearsay. That's the thing. But like, I think there was a similar case on Reddit. So it's like someone asked on Ask Singapore, right? Have I just been sexually assaulted? And the story is that she had consensual sex with a man. But because she knew that she was ovulating, right? She said, "Don't come in me." And then the guy thought that she was joking. So like during sex, he kept saying, "Okay, I'm gonna come in you. I'm gonna come in you." And then she said, "No." And then he ended up doing it. Then she was damn angry with him. She was like, why do you do it? And he just said, "I thought you were joking." Turns out that now she's 5 weeks pregnant. Yeah.
She's so irresponsible.
What? You did?
No, she's extremely irresponsible.
Why?
If you don't want to have a child and you want to have sex, then you use protection.
No,
Yeah.
you just,
Fair.
or the
The
guy
whole
can
don't-
just not come in her
No,
as
no,
per
no,
request.
but
What?
But it's a 2-person activity, what?
So it's a 2% activity, right? But I can kind of see why she's a little bit irresponsible. Because if you don't want to have a child, you're ovulating and you want to hook up, then you are going to take the precautions on your end. You're not going to say, "Hey, you be responsible for me not getting pregnant." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, in the post, she did also ask, like, is this sexual assault or was I irresponsible because I didn't insist on wearing a condom and like etc. lah. So she did ask that, and I think she's just very unsure right now because she's very confused.
Right.
My first question is why she never take the Plan B pill.
Straight away.
So that she
right?
will not get pregnant to begin with. But I mean, on the second note, I have to refute what he said. Like, I don't think it is... Like, yes, she's irresponsible, but it is also for him to respect her decision and not insist on doing it and say it's your fault because we have already consented to the sex.
I think they're just both irresponsible.
I do think he is wrong, but I also think she is wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But this also brings me to, so we on our MOSG site, right? We actually recently posted like an anonymous interview with a student who was raped on campus by a friend that she considered a very close friend. The brief story is that they were drinking together, that like in hall. So at first there were 3 people there. Then she like, I think jokingly, or they were just like playing around, then she threw his cap downstairs. And then like the guy suddenly got very upset and said, "Go and pick it up." So then she go down and pick it up, right? But when she came back, he was the only one left.
Okay.
And then he sexually assaulted her. So she said that she cannot fully recall what happened. I mean, 1, because she was drunk, and 2, because it might have been too traumatic for her.
Right.
So she said, but she clearly recalled saying no and also saying that I have a boyfriend. But the guy like heck care lah. He said, "Oh, no one will ever find out." And the worst part, right, is that because they belong in the same clique, so after that, like she tried to like confide in a few friends, right, and ask like, should I report? But then at the same time, afraid of destroying his life, because they were friends to begin with. And the guy went around telling a different story to people.
To cover his ass.
Yeah, to cover his ass. And so end up like the friends like still they still ended up having to hang out together because nobody believed her fully, I think. Then yeah, so but in this, I mean, so when this video was posted, right, then there were comments that were saying like she should have known better. She shouldn't have been drinking like with the guy, like in her dorm room, or like
Actually, just before that, right, there was actually supposed to be another female friend with them that night.
Yeah.
But I think for some reason
She just
that
couldn't
girl,
make
like,
it, yeah.
couldn't make it already. Then she was like, then she still decided to just go lor.
because these were friends that she trusted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like
That one guy,
I
like,
will
yeah.
go and drink with John Paul and I wouldn't expect that anything would
Yeah,
happen. You know what I mean? I wouldn't feel the need to take a precaution.
Because there's nothing wrong to drink with a friend alone.
But the problem was that they were in the room. So then people are saying that you are creating a situation for this to happen and no protection against it. You
So
know what I mean?
to play devil's advocate at the risk of me sounding like a victim blamer,
Yeah.
which I'm not, it's just for the sake of conversation, right?
Yep.
Like people often blame guys for not reading the signs when a girl is interested in you. Like, hey, voila, you just missed the signs completely. And so to overcompensate for that, right? A guy who is horny obviously doesn't think straight already. And then starts going, hey, are these the signs? Like, she's playfully throwing my cap down. She's alone with me in a room, or like she's still hanging out with me in her dorm without the girlfriend. Like, does this mean that she wants some, you know? And then takes that as a sign, and then if he convinces himself of that, right, goes, okay, I think I got the green light. And then obviously if she's saying no and all, he shouldn't have continued lah. But I feel like rape is wrong, sexual assault is wrong, but there's certain things that you do that could send the wrong signal. And I think that you shouldn't be blamed for it and you shouldn't get sexually assaulted for it. But also be careful of those actions lah, because it can send you can send you down a really bad spiral in the situation.
Yeah, like I totally get what you're saying. Wait, listen first. So
Yeah, save me.
so you can, hey, I'm interested in you. Hey, I want to you tonight. You know, it's not very, very sexy. And then also if you are kind of like young kids in uni or whatever, right? Everybody
Yeah, being
excited.
too straightforward.
Two people attractive maybe. Being too straightforward might not be very sexy. And also if you're not very confident, then you are thinking in your head when you watch movies or that, you just go in, flirt a bit, you feel the other person out, you think you got the right signals, then you make that move, right? That whole process is exactly what he's talking about, and it can be very complicated.
Yeah.
But where I think it can be very, very obvious is if you go and lean in for a kiss or you go and like touchy a bit, right? And
Yeah.
then the person just physically rejects
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That is already a very clear indicator, right?
Yeah.
So maybe don't be so forceful with your first move to the point where the person cannot resist, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if I'm really like, I grab her neck and shove her into my face, right? And then she's like pushing away, right? Then yeah lah, like, huh?
Yeah.
Is that not the sign?
It's like do a bit of lean in, like shoulder to shoulder, see what the feeling is first, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like make it gradual.
Gradual.
Don't just shove your dick in her face, you know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that is the
But the thing is that all this lead up is fine. Like where it goes awry is when she says no,
Yeah.
and he decides to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely like don't already lah.
Yeah.
But I think like certain things like so she said, I have a boyfriend. Yeah. I have a boyfriend, right? If you say in a different way, it sounds as though like I feel like cheating tonight, but like I don't know how to get away with it, and like please don't tell anyone, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so then him responding, no one's gonna know.
Yeah.
That seems to be, if I put myself in his head, right?
It's how he interpreted
It's how he
it lah.
interpreted it.
There was
Isn't that
actually
TikTok
people.
also?
No one's gonna know. There was actually someone who commented lah that like, why would she say I have a boyfriend?
Yeah, instead
Like,
of just saying I
called
don't
her
want
out
to
for
have sex.
saying that. And
Yeah.
then- but she was also very clear about remembering that she was very adamant in
Okay.
saying no.
Okay.
And I mean, there were people who are saying like, why is no one calling her out for her infidelity?
let's say you are with your partners.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have sex or whatever. In the middle of that, right? If something like that plays out, right? What do you all do? Like realistically, picture yourself.
Then I'll really
Building
stop
up to it
and
and all
ask
that,
her.
right?
I'll double confirm. Are you sure? Stop. Then if he say yes, then I'll really stop lah.
Yeah.
Do you think if you are drunk, it'll be the same?
Like as in if Ned just suddenly says don't want already, like stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm quite scared of her.
I if I'm already in a relationship, right, and then I don't really feel like it that night, but then I know my partner wants to have, right, then I let my partner have, but then I'm a bit uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Then when I wake up the next morning, I'm like,
Is that
is
sexual
that rape,
assault?
you know?
Have you ever been in a situation like that?
Like you're not feeling it, but then you just give your partner.
Yeah.
I can't relate to this
It's
question.
strange
So you're
because at the same time, I'm also asking, have you ever been sexually assaulted? If you really think about it.
Oh god.
No, but I'm also trying to say that is it more common than we think? And is it just something that happens because it's a process that we need to work out and we're maybe not that matured in terms of understanding how a healthy relationship works or taking care of ourselves or understanding the boundaries of sex?
Yeah.
Okay?
And I also feel like with the strangest part, right? I feel like you need to be able to be super sure about where the night is going without ruining the mood of asking directly. Like I remember like my one and only like hookup, right? Before being in a relationship. I remember being very, very strategic about how I asked it without ruining the mood. So I first just like stare into her eyes and I was just like, what are you thinking? And then like she's just like, nothing. Because I hope that she's gonna ask me back. And then she'll be like, what are you thinking? And then I'll just be like, I'm just thinking about how much I want to kiss you right now. And then, then she's like, then she's just like, what are you waiting for? Then like to me, it's like, okay lah. Right? I've like asked.
Your movie play out.
Yeah. When she say, what are you waiting for? Then do you say like permission? Because if she never explicitly say,
Yes.
Right.
Did she really say yes?
Because if you see that out in a court transcript, technically, oh shit.
And also, if both of you were drunk, then
right.
in court that would,
Yeah.
You were not supposed to ask in the first place.
so you should
That's
say
true.
consent.
What are you waiting for?
Wait, so how did it actually go?
Then her pussy just dry up completely, then you're done already.
No, but yeah, so she said, like, what are you waiting for? And then I kissed her. And then
Oh,
she
that was a real
reciprocated.
scenario. That was what actually
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Second base? Third base?
All the way.
Sick!
But like-
you went for the den, right?
No, but why is consent unsexy? I think consent is quite sexy.
So it's about making consent sexy, maybe.
Yeah, no, because I think people think like not saying anything, like just getting the kiss right, is the most sexy. Like, oh, just grab me and kiss me, that kind of thing.
Spontaneity, which can be sexy at times.
Yeah, but I think in general, people find that the most sexy lah.
Can you give me an example of asking for consent?
So like
in a
if
sexy
the
way?
guy lean in, right, then if he say like, can I kiss you? I think very cute. Instead of just like, oh.
Yeah. Can I kiss you? Okay.
Or it doesn't need to be verbal. It could be lean in and then you stop. Then wait for the girl to nod.
That's from my favorite movie, Hitch. when Will Smith was telling
Don't
Kevin
go all the
James,
way.
yeah, you have to go 70%, wait, and then let her come the 30%. Wow. Okay. Very good. Write this down.
Wait, what are you going to write this down for?
What are you gonna practice on?
Do you do that?
I need to spice things up with net a bit,
So
that-
now every time you go.
I think the way you execute the 70%, very careful.
Yes, yeah.
Must be gradual.
You just straight away. I think there's a lot of shame associated with getting like sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very big struggle that we've seen happen, like with the individuals that we've interviewed during documentaries and all this kind of stuff, right? Like, and hearing all these stories, we understand that internally it's so difficult because of the shame that they don't even dare to report to the police that this has happened to them, or even tell their closest friends or anybody and confide in them because of that.
And majority of the time they question themselves and they feel like, have I really put myself in this situation? Was I really asking for it? And like these are questions that really go through their minds and stop them from taking any legal action or sharing things with anyone.
Yeah, and I think also based on when we interviewed the university student, right, like the backlash she got, even though she kind of said her piece and her story, right, like people responding in like a
The
very
comments,
negative way,
Yeah.
it will stop people from even wanting people to find out about it.
I'm also curious to know like where incidents like this happen the most. Like, is it through random hookups with strangers
Right.
at parties, at clubs, or is it at the workplace? Where,
Yeah. Or is it like with friends or?
A large percentage of people who get sexually assaulted actually know the assaulter.
Right, right.
Yeah. The majority, they know the assaulter.
Sure. No, because I feel like, say for example, you go on like a Bumble date. Bumble is not like Tinder where you for sure gonna get hooked up, right?
Yeah.
But then it's okay lah. Maybe like,
Different
or you,
experiences for different people.
or you get set up on a blind date or whatever, right? It's your first date. I feel like it's less likely to get mixed messages in that scenario with a stranger, as opposed to when you say, for example, you work together for very long and then you get a scenario where everybody drinks and then you're just like, is she eyeing me in a different way? Or like if you're friends in school or whatever, like similar scenario.
Right.
Then I feel like those scenarios are so likely to happen because of someone misreading the signals.
And also over a period of time. Like in this specific, the MOSG case, like I put myself in, like there's so many characters that you can kind of try to relate to, right? Like imagine if I were the friend that left
Yeah.
and then after that, this happened.
Wow, the
Say-
guilt though.
Yeah, like three of us drinking, then I left, then something happened, then I'm like, wow. And then at the same time, I can also see why it was difficult for the clique to make a decision. Because if, say, for example, like, you come up to me, then you say like, hey, Dan did something to you. But I know Dan, and I know Dan is not someone who is like that. Who is like that. Yeah. And Dan comes to me and tells me a different story. Then now what do I do?
Yeah. Who do you believe?
Actually, I like that you're bringing this up because I also think about it before, right? If say your tightest bros, right, are the ones, right, who ended up up.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe you went a bit too far with somebody and then the victim is just not somebody that you're that close to. What will you do in that situation?
I would try and distance myself, but I know rationally that being a good friend means sticking by that person even though people are going to question why the still friends with that person. Because this person is going to feel more alone than ever. And like, how do you even correct their thinking? How do you make sure that they don't do it again? Because technically, if you're thinking about it in a society level, how do you stop a sexual assaulter from sexually assaulting again? Could be that because someone did something that is a lack of judgment and then not have the right friends to tell them that was wrong anymore.
I think to me, it's like, I am doing the victim a disservice.
Yeah.
Like in trying to say, okay, I'm going to stand by you, right? It's almost trying to say that like, the hurt that I did, that was done to the victim is not worth me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this person's whole life was destroyed, right? And then I'm saying I want to be a good friend, you know? Yeah, that's what it looks like in my head. But I totally get where you're coming from. Like you say, I know that I assaulted someone, right? I don't think I would blame my friends for wanting to distance from me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
If it's true, the verdict come out
Yeah,
is
but
true.
I think that's the part where you differ quite a lot from him, right?
Yeah.
Because you feel like you cannot be there for their friend, and you don't think that their friend should depend on his.
I don't think my friend should expect that people should still choose to stand by him when he has made this mistake and he has yet to pay for it in a sense.
I'll do my duty as a friend to make sure the person learn the lesson.
So if your friend sexually assaulted someone, would you still have the same stance?
Rape is very high on my
No list.
no
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
So I'll be very angry. But then at the same time, I think I'll still do my duty as a friend because I still like love the person as a friend to like help.
So what is something that you cannot condone? That means you won't do that. You will say bye-bye.
I think raping twice.
Or double
No, okay,
offender.
I think
double
once.
offender,
I
no.
think
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
I understand. I already did my part. And then you do it again, right? I'll be like,
I'm out.
bro.
Something that I was Googling is it victim blaming, right? To tell a woman to be careful. Like say, I've been to this place before. Then I know that the guys, like when they get drunk, and then they tend to be a lot more touchy lah. Then, or like there's drugs going around this place or whatever. And then I say, hey, be careful. Or like maybe like you want to like, say bring something with you or like you don't want to wear that, like wear something that's less accessible, right? Is that victim blaming?
I think there are layers to this, right?
Yeah.
And I think the layers can start to peel off, right? When you educate yourself about sexual assault in general. Like, for example, the way somebody is dressed does not actually contribute to the probability of them getting sexually
Yeah.
assaulted,
Yeah.
right? So that alone, right, should remove this already.
Yeah.
So when you with somebody kena, you don't look at the person and try to analyze what they're wearing and try to
Yeah.
decide that that cause constituted to something. There's zero causational connection there. Okay, so educate yourself.
There's actually a research done about this, so he's right.
Yeah. So then, in fact, more covered, kena more. Yeah. So just wear less. Okay, everybody win. So then, right, we need to figure out like what actually leads to increasing the probability, and then based on that, then you make an educated decision. Like say if you're overseas or wherever you're going, or with the life choices that you make lah.
Like if I know this girl is clearly drunk, right? I should just not. You
Yeah,
know?
like have,
As a
Just
guy,
don't do
It's true.
anything.
It's
Yeah,
true. Like just have a policy of don't sleep with drunk women.
because like they
There
are
are people
incapable
that
of
can
doing-
fully look like they are fine, right?
Yeah.
But they actually f***ing gone already.
Yeah.
Or we should have like a test. Like how drunk are you? And then you play a game. Then drag it on for 2 hours. See the person told before that like most probably drunk.
Or we could have the clubs have a breathalyzer station.
Yeah.
So
No,
if
I
you
was-
want to do something, right, then you're going to get tested
Yeah.
first.
I was thinking your phones because I
Drunk
believe that
check.
Yeah, drunk check.
there was like a Shark Tank thing where you plug at the lightning cable, right? Then you because at the end of the day, the breathalyzer measures the alcohol to blood ratio, so it actually is quite accurate to know whether you are completely shit faced or not.
Okay, just go to drunk station and see whether you are okay to give consent or receive consent.
and we can create that invention now and start selling to clubs. Okay. Business.
But John never come for one day we got a new company. I mean, the clear solution, educate men/women to not rape, right? But while we get there, I think there's still a lot of things that society needs to change. Yeah, so like I was Googling like what constitutes examples of victim blaming. Okay, so number one, you had to know what was going to happen if you went up to that person's apartment. So that's victim blaming. Number two,
Shit, I just did that.
you shouldn't have been drinking.
I just did that too.
You must have sent mixed messages.
I did that too.
Was your door even locked? What were you wearing? How hard did you try to stop it? And why didn't you come forward sooner? This is not exhaustive, but these are examples, right? Of like, if you say this, right, you might be able to like catch yourself and like say that, hey, like, what would the victim feel if I say this to them?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this episode. We'll be putting like help links and like more information down in the description below. So do check those out and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Arriba.
Okay, everybody, let's go. Wow, I love the enthusiasm.